That deal's not gonna work for us. Fact is, I was about to ask for all of your stuff, only I'm thinking I don't have to kill any of you. Any more of you.
A few moments later.
So how did we get to this point? Let's rewind a little bit. One day, Daryl and Rick are just out chilling, trying to find some supplies for the group, when they come across a man called Jesus. They hold him at gunpoint, but he explains he's being chased by a horde of walkers. As soon as he says this, some loud bangs go off, and Rick and Daryl quickly go around the corner to investigate. But to their surprise, there are just firecrackers there, and they hear the rev of an engine. Jesus has finessed them, and he drives off with their supplies and their truck. And just like that, Jesus pulls off one of the most devious licks of the century. But little does he know who he's just stole from. Rick and Daryl start pacing it down the road like Mo Farah in the 2012 Olympics, and they eventually see Jesus has parked up the truck on the side of the road. They sneak up on him, tie him up, and retake the truck, before driving off. But after driving for just a short time, they soon realise this guy just won't quit and he is on top of their roof. So Rick slams on the brakes, tossing Jesus to the ground. Jesus tries to run, but Daryl ain't having none of it and he chases him down. After a short scuffle between Daryl and Jesus, a walker interrupts, and Jesus tells Daryl to duck, killing the walker with his gun. The fight continues until Jesus accidentally releases the brake on the truck, causing it to roll into the pond. Jesus gets knocked out by the door of the truck, so Rick and Daryl agree to bring him back to Alexandria to get fixed up. The next day, Jesus then agrees to take them to his community. His community is called Hilltop, and they are led by this complete sleabag named Gregory, but that's a whole different video for another day. Anyway, Rick and the group are running kind of low on food at Alexandria, and they see all the food stocks that they have at Hilltop, and they propose a trade. But Hilltop declines, saying they will have no food left over if they make a trade. Rick and our group look bamboozled, and they're asking themselves, are you guys filming Nick Avocado mukbangs here, or are you trying to survive the apocalypse? Jesus then explains the situation to them. This group called the Saviors one day came in and executed a 16-year-old boy from Hilltop. Damn, 16. Negan and Lucille acting like the Diddy of the apocalypse out here.
You better hide your baby or...
Anyway, since that day, Hilltop have had to give away half of their supplies to the Saviors, or else the Saviors will attack the community. Rick's like, that could never be me, and he cuts them a new deal. He will kill the Saviors for them, freeing them, and in return, they give Alexandria half their food. Hilltop like this offer, and Rick's like, consider it done. Back in Alexandria, Rick tells his people of the plan to kill the Saviors and trade with Hilltop. He starts orchestrating an intricate plan, like a prime Pep Guardiola, to infiltrate the Saviors' base, which is a satellite tower located near Hilltop. And boy, they were not playing. Rick and the gang pull up on some Black Air Force type energy,
If me and my gang pull up,
making quick work of the guards and making their way inside the base. Their plan is to kill all of the Saviors in their sleep as to avoid any bloodshed on their side. Pretty smart plan if you ask me. I mean, they've even got my boy Glenn catching a body out here, and everything is going to plan. But that would be far too boring for a TV episode, so one of the Saviors wakes up and sounds the alarm, and this starts a gunfight between the two sides. But it's pretty one-sided, and come the morning, every Saviour in the satellite base has been killed. But as they leave, they hear on the radio a couple of Saviours have escaped, and have Maggie and Carol hostage. But once again, these side characters are no match for our heroes, so just like all heroes do, they come in and massacre them all. Wait, what? Anyway, Rick has a problem. He has no idea what the Saviour's leader, Negan, looks like, so he has no idea if he's killed him or not. He questions the last remaining Saviour about Negan, and he says this.
I'm Negan. There's a whole world of fun that we can talk about. So let's have a chat.
I'm sorry it had to come to this.
Oh, well, that was easy. The group will go home and live happily ever after. You thought my boy Negan would go out like that. You must not be familiar with this boy's game. He sat there in his tower hearing the news, and bro is about to lock in like Game 7 LeBron. It turns out whilst Rick and the group are celebrating back in Alexandria, They had just poked the bear. The only thing they had taken out is one of the many outposts owned by Negan. And now he's mad. He calls up his men and they set a trap. A pregnant Maggie is in desperate need for a doctor, so she is forced to take the trip to Hilltop. So Rick, Maggie, Glenn, Abraham, Carl, Michonne, Rosita and Sasha all bundle into the RV for a little road trip. But there are some minor roadblocks on the way to Hilltop. Nothing major though, just some man being hung on a bridge and some trees on fire blocking your path. Hang on, yeah, no. I am turning that RV around and I'm driving straight home. I don't care what's in my path, I'm going through it or around it. I'll take that bad boy off-road if I have to. As dusk starts to draw in, the saviour roadblocks start to become more and more intimidating. But my boy Rick is still dropping these one-liners like it's season 5.
I could try and break the chain.
It won't work. We need the bullets.
Fact is, I was about to ask for all of your stuff, only I'm thinking I don't have to kill any of you. Any more of you.
He's moving like Celtic Shaq out here, and by nightfall, our group are getting penned in. This is when panic is really setting in. The group are finally forced to ditch the RV and make a run for it on foot. And although a sense of doom lingers in the air, at least they have this motivational speech from Carl.
What happened to Denise? I'm not gonna let anybody die like that again.
But suddenly the forest is flooded with light, and they are caught like deers in the headlights. They are massively outnumbered and are forced to kneel by Simon as they wait for the arrival of the man himself, Negan. And boy oh boy, as Negan steps out of the RV, you can feel the aura radiating off him. He explains to the group that half of what they own is now his. And just to get the point across of how serious the Saviours are, Negan will now kill one of Rick's group, with his trusty bat wrapped in barbed wire named Lucille. Okay, this man is officially sick. He has even named his murder weapon. He plays a sick and twisted game of ip-dip-doo before bashing in poor Abraham's skull. Rest in peace to my favourite ginger. And all of a sudden, Daryl thinks it would be a good idea to punch Negan directly in his face. Okay, first of all, Negan takes it like an absolute champ, and second of all, the punishment for this is Negan will now kill another member of the group. But in order for Daryl to feel guilty, he will not kill Daryl. And he obviously can't kill Rick, because Rick needs to get his revenge at some point in the future. So he kills the much beloved Glenn. Maggie, I'll find you. Later, and Maggie is now a single parent. At this point, it's pretty clear Negan isn't messing around. He even toys with Rick, nearly getting him to cut off his own son's arm. I mean, this guy is so traumatized, he has snot bubbles coming out of his nose. But real talk, how did Andrew Lincoln never win an Emmy for this, by the way? It really is peak acting. But that concludes one of the most heartbreaking and disturbing couple of episodes in TV history. But you know my boy Rick ain't gonna let those 2 deaths slide. He's spinning the block to get some get back. And if you guys want me to make a video on Rick's revenge and a light-hearted video on the Saviour War, let me know down below in the comments. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.